Hello, everyone. I was speaking to a lady recently who's a nurse and she works with mental health conditions, people that are mentally unwell, I suppose, and but mostly young people. So, like young mental health issues. And so, what she sees are a lot of eating disorders, personality disorders, and schizophrenia and stuff like that. I don't think she mentioned depression, and I'm have an interest in eating disorders because I have an interest in health and nutrition and the diet. And I was never really around anyone that had an eating disorder growing up, as far as I'm aware, or even in school that I was aware of or knew was happening, and it wasn't something particularly of interest to me, I suppose. um, but being in the raw vegan movement and putting on a festival, it became really important to me to I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to say. Especially running the festival, I had to be very careful about what I fit. I start to feel like you need to be very careful about what you say and how you put it across. And I know that a lot of people don't like to put on weight and to gain weight. And when I was starting off in the raw vegan diet movement, the prevailing idea at the time was basically eat as much as you want, eat as much fruit as you want, as long as it's kind of low fat, high carb, you won't gain any weight and stuff. And a lot of people took that message maybe too far and did gain weight. Um, but a lot of them weren't really. A lot of it's there's always more to it. It's unlikely they were just eating fruit. It's unlikely they were just eating fruit and salad, but a lot of people took that approach and gain weight and all that. And that's not great, if people gain weight, but that is so much better. That message of eat as much as you like is so much better than any message of restriction whatsoever, because people with eating disorders are attracted to this movement and basically any diet movement, but this one maybe in particular. And it's a very, very difficult thing. And it's something that totally ruins people's lives and can kill people, but it totally ruins people's lives. It's a dangerous, depressing waste of time, total waste of energy, time, waste of someone's life for someone to fall down that completely pointless, valueless hole of eating disorder nonsense. It's absolutely horrendous, and um, I would say I'm trying to think of how many people I've met now. It's not if you go to something like the Woodstock Fruit Festival, it's not anorexics. That's not what I'm talking about. It's not like 100 anorexic people, but you will get one or maybe a couple. You'll get a few people that you're like, they're definitely on the borderline, or they're recovering or something. And I was speaking to this nurse, and she said, talking to her about people with eating disorders, she said they lie. It's very difficult for them to work with them because they lie and they pretend and they fake. And that's what they're dealing with over and over and over. And they're living in a total, you know, non-realistic world anyway. And that's what, to some extent as well, I've seen with eating disorders, is just how they lie and defend, and it's terrible, because when a person doesn't eat, if any of us, you can take the most psychologically balanced person in history with the best upbringing and everything, put them on a 1,000 calorie a day deficit of what they should be eating, and you will see that person freak out within a week and be a completely different person and be very unhappy and all that stuff. And if they just eat enough food, they go back to normal. And it's as obvious and as simple and as clear as that, right? This is a bit different to fasting, which is a different thing, but that's under supervision and should be, and no one with an eating disorder history should ever fast ever again. If you have any history of eating disorder behavior of any level, you should never be allowed to fast anywhere at any time ever, and you should never fast. You've lost the privilege of doing that because you can't take care of yourself, and you might go down that road again. So the worst thing is people in this movement who are clearly from an eating disorder background or situation talking about how they need to fast. If they just fast, and it's horrible. It's absolutely horrible. I really, really hate it so much. There's lots of bad things in life. Like there's so many, but there's lots and lots of bad things. But this is one of those uniquely terrible things. So when people talk to me about restrictive eating pattern, breatharianism, pranic eating, oh well, maybe you can do that. Maybe that works for some people. No, it doesn't. It doesn't. It doesn't. It doesn't. There's nothing I'm more clear on than that is total nonsense. And it's not just nonsense, it's dangerous. It's depressing, it's dangerous, it's horrible. The people that promote that kind of thing, I don't think they're necessarily bad, evil people trying to do evil things. I think they're completely delusional people who don't know what they're doing and have no idea of the damage, the incredible damage they're causing. And you know, even this thing in the movement of sometimes, like, and it's only naive people that don't have never done a raw vegan diet for any period of time. I was gonna say someone's name there, but I know how much a lot of you would flip out. But some people are teaching the diet and have never done the diet, and they'll say things like, you know, when I was eating fruit, I didn't have to eat that much. I found that I had energy from the sun and all that. Well, that's why you don't live on the diet. That's why you did it in the 70s, and, and now you've got a story that you tell to people about it, but you never actually did it. So don't. I'm just appealing to you. Just don't listen to any of that nonsense. That is all bad. It's darkness. It's absolute darkness in the world of diet. That road of restriction and breatharianism, and that is absolute darkness. The only thing that is appealing to you about that is the darkness in you, is what's attracting you to that. That's the only thing, because there is no light there. and it's the light masquerade. It's total darkness masquerading as light, because they act like it's some kind of spiritual thing. It's not. Um, it's a terrible, horrendous, bad, evil, dark place, and it's boring, which is maybe is just as bad as anything else. It's absolutely, it's boring. It is when you have to talk to people or with people who are in that kind of state, and they're lying and they're covering up, and and they're just being swallowed by their own darkness, and it doesn't really matter what you say and do. Doesn't really matter, because they're not ready to see the truth. The truth is the light. It doesn't matter how difficult it is for you to accept that. In life, in human life, anything that is truth is light. And if that light shines on you and you don't like the darkness you see, that is your problem and something that you need to work on, because the truth is just the truth. And that stuff is just pure darkness. Demonic dark, like demon level darkness. There's no love in that. There's no. I'm talking almost like religiously here or something, or spiritually, but that's how I feel about it. But people will lie to your face and try and convince you that they're not anorexic or whatever, that they were just born that way, and this is just genetics, and they eat, and you're like, you're not fooling anyone. Like, everyone can see it, everyone knows it, all your friends know it, and you're still trying to tell us that you're not that or whatever. I don't know if it starts off with a person that is mentally affected and then becomes eating disorder, or they start going down the path of eating disorder and they become mentally ill. I don't know if it happens together, if one's triggered by the other. But if you already have mental instability vulnerabilities, then under eating, restrictive eating is like the worst thing you can do to exacerbate it all and bring out all your anxieties and fears. And then they'll tell you that that's the parasites talking, or that's emotional detox, or that's all this nonsense, and it's not. It's just you don't know how to nourish yourself. You don't know how to take care of yourself, because the darkness is absolutely swallowing you, and they're very hard to reach, and they will destroy everything in their life to protect that darkness. They'll give up all connections with friends, family. It's terrible. They will lie to everyone in their life, everyone trying to help them. It's absolute misery, hell on earth. So if you want to know why I don't support, or I don't say, hey, yeah, let's all think about breatharianism and maybe it's a real thing and let's be open about that, it's because of that. Because eating disorders kill people. It's all nonsense. And it's just a waste of time, waste of people. I can't believe people have been to like the fruit festivals and have then went to breatharian events and stuff like that. It's just, oh, I hate it so much. And I don't even hate it from a perspective of like, oh, I wish they'd just come back to the festival, or they should just do what I do or do what I tell them to do. Like, not really in that mode, but just in like, I hate that people let that darkness win. I just hate that. Annoys me, I suppose. It annoys me. And it annoys me that it spreads and kind of spiders out into the world and different people get taken in by it. It's horrible. So I hate it when people say that, like, but it might be possible if you go through this process. No, there's no process. There is no process. This is nonsense, you know. And restrictive eating, all that stuff, it's all so bad, you know. And I think Rosalind Graham talks about, oh, these are people that are looking for love and they need love, and she mentioned something about that. But it's like you can't fill people with love that aren't open to it. You can't. Well, there's no love factory people can go to and get love. Like, it doesn't work like that. Like, people have to somehow. So this nurse I was talking to, they have to force feed people. Now, maybe if everyone was brought up on a fruitarian diet, then no one would have eating disorders. Maybe it's triggered by issues with the food that are legitimate, disgusting ideas about food, right? And probably a lot of people have solved eating disorders by coming to the fruitarian diet and doing it properly. But 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 um but still, what am I trying to say? I kind of lost my thread there a little bit. What was I saying about the fruitarian diet? Rosalind. Um, yeah, no, I mean, I do think probably people solve it. Yeah, maybe like it's from the diet, it's from the fact that the diet's disgusting. Maybe there is a reality to that, but getting force fed anything instead of dying is better. But literally, they have to be force fed, and often against their will. I didn't know that really happened. It's, my God, how terrible. But what happened to them to make them like that? Who, like, that's even worse, and it's so difficult. But don't go down that path. Don't entertain it. Don't walk there. Don't. There's nothing good down that road. Stay away. It is dangerous, and it is dark, and it will swallow you up and destroy your life. So that's all I want to say. It is really that bad. And yeah, so it's kind of a weird sad message or a bad message, but it just made me think. This conversation I had just made me think about all that stuff, and why I'm so against breatharian thing, like, if and pranic, whatever. I'm so against it. I'm so totally against it. It's nothing to do with our diet. It's nothing to do with the raw vegan lifestyle. It's nothing to do with fruitarianism. It's got nothing to do with it. That is delusion and badness and nastiness. We are trying to hold on to the truth about human diet. People eat fruit. That's what we should be doing. That's truth. That stuff is not truth. That is eating disorder area. That's mental health issue area. That's abuse area. That's all this stuff. We should stay away from it. Anyway, thank you for watching. Bit of a weird video. I don't know. I just wanted to express that. I every now and again I want to express that because I remind myself of how bad and terrible it all is. Anyway, thank you.